My name's Sarah Simmons, and I cared for my father who suffered from Lewy body dementia, and I'm his youngest daughter.
So my name is Leonora Hill. I've now retired. When I was doing the NIDAS project, I was rector of 6 rural churches, and my husband had retired. My husband is in his 90th year now, and he was diagnosed with dementia in 2019. And so we're coming up to 5 years. So when we first took part in the project, we're in the early days, and it was really good to have that support.
It was extremely helpful because there really isn't much there unless you look for local clubs or maybe phone calls from dementia advisors from time to time. There wasn't really any structured support once the diagnosis had been given. So having the NIDA support there on a regular basis was incredibly useful and made you feel that there were people there who could offer help and could give you a direction for dealing with what can be an ongoing situation, one that you need to live as positively as you can. And without help, that is extremely challenging. It's easy to become frustrated and demoralised maybe sometimes at some points in the care journey. And also somebody can, if they start developing different symptoms and different behaviours, that can seem discouraging. However, the course deals with this and helps you to prepare for those changes and things happening. And it also asks you again and again to return to the principles that you've discussed. So it does kind of keep you accountable and pull you back into a positive frame of mind.
To be able to set aside an hour of someone just listening to you and being empathetic and being understanding was just great. And so often you don't set aside time to do that, and you tend to be saying, yeah, I'm fine. And it was great to have someone to listen. Well, Lucy was there on the end of, at that time, it was a Zoom meeting because it was during COVID. And Peter was with us, and Peter was always there by our side. And so it was a 3-way conversation. So it wasn't just Lucy and me offloading. We very much included Peter in that. And that was really good for setting goals because I was actually setting time aside to really listen to him as well.
To begin with, I felt almost reluctant to do it because it felt as if you were in a work situation or something like that, some kind of assessment. But actually, it really was incredibly helpful to realise that it was a situation that you could make goals within. It felt a little bit overwhelming and complex to do that, but being asked to do it and made to do it really by the advisor, it was very useful because it gave us a direction through the sort of swamp really of the symptoms and the confusion amongst us as carers, having never really been carers. Having Lucy to talk to on a fairly regular basis, because there were quite a number of sessions when we went through setting the goals and feeding back. And then we would set catch-up calls to see how I was doing at a particular point in time. It was always in the diary. So it felt very much as though you had someone on hand to provide support and somebody consistent. I think that's a key aspect of the program as well, that it was the same facilitator who was able to get to know me and I was able to get to know her. So when we spoke about things, there was already good groundwork in place. So it was as if I was receiving a kind of therapy in a way, being understood and being reassured and guided. And those things are what sadly is missing from our very limited and stretched direct NHS currently because you don't have that kind of support from a GP. You can't due to their lack of resource, really. So the program offered something that the NHS really isn't able to provide at this current time. So I'm very, very excited to hear that there is the opportunity to roll out this program, and that makes my taking part in the research even more valuable to me, that I was able to give feedback on the benefits of the situation.